Time and time again, we see efforts to erase our history. Systemic racism continues to be codified into our laws and into our budgets. I know the current administration is now attempting to dismantle foundational civil rights protections, diversity, equity, and inclusion, and roll back our hard-won progress here in our country. And no matter how much they want to whitewash it, they cannot erase Black history.
Stand not merely as a representative in Congress, but as a proud son of St. Louis. One who believes in the power of bringing every voice into our shared conversation. It is my mission to ensure that every single person in my district feels seen, heard, and valued. My first foray in public service was as a city councilman elected in 2015 in a place called Ferguson. In 2018, I was the first African American elected to serve as St. Louis County prosecuting attorney, working with community partners to create the first of its kind diversion advisory committee.
When the time came for Larry Doby to step up to the plate and do something memorable, he knocked it out of the park and became the first African American to the home run in a World Series game. Today, thanks in part to his sacrifices, countless players follow in his footsteps.
Madam President, Tulsi Gabbard has worn the uniform of our country for the last 22 years, leading American soldiers in some of the most dangerous parts of the world. She also served 8 years in Congress, including service on the Homeland Security, Foreign Affairs, and Armed Services Committees. By her own count, she's taken an oath to support and defend the Constitution of the United States at least 8 times. Madam President, as both a military officer and policymaker, Ms. Gabbard has been a consumer of intelligence. She knows that good decisions depend on having the best information. And she knows that the cost of bad information is measured in lives lost.
If the administration takes away Medicaid, I won't be able to afford doctor's appointments, prescriptions, wellness exams like mammograms, and more. Medicaid saves my life. Beyond this, I rely on the Department of Education's income-driven repayment plan to pay off my student loans. Without it, I fear I will never climb out of debt. To Sandra and everyone who is feeling these concerns, I assure you that I won't stop protecting Medicaid, which is a lifeline for millions of Americans. And of course, I'll do all that I can to defend the good work that the Department of Education does and the important work they do to support our students, schools, and colleges.
Mr. Speaker, I rise today in solidarity with our nation's federal workers, including the more than 22,000 who live and work in the great state of New Jersey. Our federal workforce is a vital cornerstone of our work to protect the most vulnerable amongst us, grow our economy, protect our national security, and to keep us safe. In Newark, our air traffic controllers and TSA agents devote their careers to keeping our skies safe and getting us to where we need to go safely. Social Security employees in the Hoboken field office assist our seniors and those with disabilities in receiving the benefits they have earned and depend on. And USCIS officials in Newark assist immigrant families with processing their visas, green cards, and applications for naturalization. Our nation runs because of federal workers, and an attack on them is an attack on the services that Americans rely on every day.
That's why I'm reintroducing the Quiet Act. My bipartisan legislation would increase the penalties for any scammer who thinks that they can use AI to make an easy buck off of a senior citizen by stealing their Social Security check. I encourage my colleagues on both sides of the aisle to stand up to these bad actors and join me in this fight. I yield back.
What's clear is hot rock geothermal in particular, which is the ability to drill 5, 6, 7 miles beneath the Earth's surface, has the tremendous potential to unlock clean, reliable, high baseload power. And it can be a bipartisan issue. We can drill clean energy, we can reindustrialize big segments of the United States. And in terms of energy security, we can be an exporter of a technology that can retrofit many of the coal-fired power plants that China and India are currently building, getting us closer to 1.7 degrees Celsius by 2050.
They are trying to get themselves in front of the Supreme Court because they have a theory, and Stephen Miller's been all over cable TV talking about it, about executive power, and they want to test the theories of appropriations law and the impoundment law, which is put in place after Nixon tried to withhold funds, and which, of course, was the basis on which Donald Trump was impeached during his first term. They want to take it to the courts, but they want to dismantle the government and especially support systems for low-income families at such a scale and such a rate that they know it would be politically untenable in Congress.
He wants his border policy legislated into law, address the illegal immigration, address energy policy, and address tax policy, which is within my committee's jurisdiction on the House Ways and Means, so that we can extend or make permanent, rather, the Trump-era tax cuts from 2017.
Carson joined his fellow House Democrats to introduce a bill that would prevent people like Musk from gaining access to taxpayer info like Social Security or Medicaid benefits.
Congress holds the purse strings. Many of this political theater that we're witnessing from Mr. Musk and Mr. Trump is political theater. It is causing great unrest. It is causing anxiety, but Congress has the power of the purse. Many of these things, that these proposals that they're threatening to implement simply cannot be done because this money and these dollars have already been appropriated by Congress.
And what we're finding is billions and billions of dollars have been transferred. These programs, number one, they never had an audit. Number two, Congress didn't know about it. Number three, it's hidden. And you know what? Let's shake it up. I don't think the taxpayers should be paying one dime to any program that the taxpayers and Congress and the president doesn't know about.
Where we do a lot of our international health programs, address malaria, tuberculosis, programs like PEPFAR, which is President Bush's initiative to address HIV and AIDS in Africa. So not a lot of money that we spend, but a lot of goodwill that we gain by doing things that reflect America's value.
Safety physically, safety emotionally, and safety legally. Lifestream relies on about 34% of our funding from federal sources, from a variety of sources. So that's Violence Against Women Act funds, it's Victim of Crime Act funds, Community Block Grant funds. And any sort of freeze or threat of freeze of any duration really has a long-term impact on survivors across the country. It really sends a message to them in a variety of ways. It tells them that their safety is not important, that if they need to reach out for services, that there may not be services available to them.
You see that Donald Trump and Elon Musk are doing something very Orwellian. What they want to do is not have an educated electorate. They don't care about equity. They don't care about social equity in terms of educational dollars flowing equally to the children who are in families who are struggling, as well as to families who are doing well.
That's what President Trump campaigned with the American people and received a mandate on Election Day in November to dismantle the bureaucracy, the fourth branch of government. That's not even supposed to be the fourth branch of government. What we're seeing now is Elon Musk advising Donald Trump, and Donald Trump taking most of his advice, not all of his advice, and a Congress, our House Oversight Committee, your old stomping ground, Trey, we're working closely with Elon Musk and Doge. We want to save the taxpayers' money. We want to eliminate burdensome and unnecessary regulations.
Do you think Elon Musk cares about the American people, Mr. Shades?
I don't think that's the issue. I think the question is what is going to be done about the $36 trillion debt and the $2 trillion.
So you want to talk about the debt, but the Congress, they're in control. Why not go through the public process? If you want to make cuts, then vote to cut it. Why are you having this person do it? Are you giving him your power as an elected person representing 750,000 people?